Okay, just relax. I'm not donating my hair. But as I comb my hair, I kind of like to have these thoughtful discussions on my videos because I like long hair. But I feel like, yes, let's have a discussion about something. And let's get behind the real issue of it. Okay, maybe I have so much to still learn about long hair, but I feel like I've learned a lot more. I've always had longish hair throughout parts of my life, but I've learned a lot about hair ever since I started realizing that long hair is a very popular subject. And there's a lot to long hair that the general public thinks that they're experts on, but they're not really experts on. Okay, so I don't really like the term virtue signaling. I know sometimes it's kind of used by these alt-right people to like always justify every cause that they support, which I don't support all of their causes, honestly. Sorry, I mean, I'm not gonna censor them. I'm not about censoring people, but there is a point to the whole virtue signaling thing. Like there is a valid point that we live in a culture where nowadays people will show how virtuous they are, and it is kind of like, to me, it's a modern form of indulgences. We don't, there's still people who are religious and they donate to charity, but now the society is more secular, in Western culture anyway. People look for things to fill the void because honestly, we like to be grounded by something. We like to have a cause. This kind of resonated in my mind when I did the live stream on my main channel last night where we talked about Desert of the Tartars, how the character in that novel spent his life defending this fortress that was not attacked until the end of his life, but he had a cause, right? So people want to be invested in something. They want to have a cause. They want to feel that they're doing good in the world. I mean, I think most people in general want to feel or want to do things that don't cause harm unless you're completely sadistic. Most people do, right? They want to do things to make the world a better place. And here's the thing, though. That's good. If your life is devoted to wanting to help others and you're very into charity or donating things, you should do that. Nobody's stopping you. But I think when we tell women that they need to donate their hair, people need to do their research. And I was always afraid to talk about this topic at an earlier time because I thought, oh, this is kind of controversial. But actually, it's not. I've had women tell me, and this was a couple of years ago when my hair was shorter, that I should donate my hair because I have long hair. And I have a problem with that. First off, if you want to have long hair, you have every right to have long hair. And even if it's selfish, so what? Okay, here's the thing. Nobody's going to tell somebody that if they get a tattoo that or imply that they shouldn't have that. Like in our modern society, having a tattoo is a form of self-expression. Like that's celebrated more than ever. Like showing your individuality with art through tattoos. It's very celebrated. But a lot of people think if you decide to grow your hair long and it's a form of self-expression and happiness, that makes you a selfish person. And even if it does, so what? It's okay to be selfish about some things, by the way. Because you need to take care of yourself first, because how can you help someone else if you don't feel good about anything in life, in my opinion? You know? Oh no, I'm not donating my hair. This is what I'm talking about. It's the whole virtue signaling. I don't really like that term. Controversy where women, it's mostly women. I have never had a man tell me that I should donate my hair. First off, a lot of those charities that you donate your hair to, some of them will make the wig free of charge for the cancer patient. Others charge, by the way. They charge that family a large amount of money. So you have given your hair for free to that charity, but they're still charging that family. A family who, by the way, whose child is on cancer treatments and they probably don't have the money. some of the charities do give the hair away for free. Other ones, they can't even accept all the hair that people donate because they have certain specifications and they throw away a lot of it. So you don't know. And I'm not going to go to anybody's video, but I did the research this out. You don't even really know that if you donate your hair, it's going to go to a good cause. And here's another thing, the whole hair donation thing. If you want to donate your hair, great. But did you know? Do you know there is a whole unethical industry, in my opinion, unethical, that buys hair, beautiful hair from India because these people donate their hair to temples and they think they're doing a good thing. Like, and yeah, that's nice what they're doing, but the middleman, they buy this hair and they sell it on the Western market as hair extensions. And I guess they interviewed some of the people that donated their hair in India. They felt okay about that. But there are a lot of families that could have benefited if they had had a piece of that pie. You know, okay, I guess it goes to helping that temple. That's good. But I was just thinking about this. If people are so invested in getting hair extension or getting like wigs for cancer patients, maybe they should go to India, some places like this, buy the hairs from temples and help pay to have the wigs made for cancer patients. Like, people should put their money into it and doing that, or like buying really nice synthetic wigs for people who are cancer patients, like people who want to help, instead of just telling any woman that they see that she is selfish because she has long hair. No, you're not selfish. And even if you are, it's okay to be selfish about some things. It's your hair. You have, like, if you went onto some makeup guru's video and you told her that she was selfish because she wants to apply makeup a certain way to make herself feel good, do you know how much, like, hatred you'd get? Because why would you do that? It would be considered so uncouth, so ridiculous to do that. But for some reason, because it's hair, all of a sudden people decided that good people donate their hair, but selfish people grow their hair long and keep it for themselves. That doesn't make you selfish. You don't even know when you donate your hair if it's going to go to the cause that you think it is. Do the research, figure it out. I'm not going to go on and on about it, but it's true. Like, you don't know where it's going. And the whole other thing about donation charity, why do you have to make such a big deal about it? Like, if you want to donate your hair, just do it. Don't tell other people that they should do it. Stop being the virtue police, you know? Stop telling other people that, like, you want to tell someone that if they didn't get this particular kind of tattoo, that they weren't a good person, or that they would be a really good person if they didn't. But I guess because tattoos aren't something you can donate. But why is it that women have to donate their hair? They don't. Nobody's obligating you to. There's a lot of beautiful synthetic wigs. There's a lot of beautiful virgin human hair that these middlemen buy, where they're not even paying women in India, not a dime. So why don't you pile on these hair extension companies? Why don't all the virtue signaling people go pile on to the hair extension company and say, hey, why don't you go to India, reimburse these women for their hair? You could do it through the temple, by the way. You could respect their faith. You could reimburse the temple for the hair and then pay to have these wigs made for cancer. You know, there are other... I just think if you're so invested in that, do that, right? Don't, like, tell people that want to grow their hair long that they shouldn't. There's no... If you want to donate your hair, yeah, that's great. It's your choice. But why don't you reimburse those people who are doing that, or the temple that's doing that, like, in a more judicious way than being this, like, seedy middleman who sells this hair to the Western market for a way market price. Hair extensions are not what you think it is. But maybe you should go pile on the hair extension industry, as opposed to, like, giving regular people growing their hair long a hard time. Just my thoughts on that. You know, people don't research things, they just jump on the cause bandwagon. And it's real popular to tell them they should cut their hair, but nobody's obligated to cut their hair, okay? It doesn't make you a more virtuous person because you donated your hair to charity. It just means you felt like that was helping someone, but that doesn't make you a better person. There are tons of things you can do in your daily life to help your neighbors, your friends. Like you could buy a burrito for a homeless person. Of course, you're not going to have bragging rights to it that you donated to charity on Facebook when you do that, right? You could just quietly go do these things. There's so much you can do on your own. So that's why, like, I don't really get into the whole, oh, I'm charitable thing anymore, because I think people who want to help others, they do it all the time, and they don't have to have this clarion call, like, okay, in Christian faith it says in Matthew 6:2, like, if you want to donate something, just do it. Don't, like, announce it. Don't say, like, oh, like, and other faiths too say if you want to do something, just do it. Don't be like, yeah, I did this. Don't tell other people that they need to donate their hair. Because there's so much more to the whole long hair thing. Like, if you want to help people that you think need a wig, you could start pressuring an industry that's not compensating women who do want to donate their hair in other countries. You could do that. You could start questioning that industry, because right now that industry is so glorified, highly glorified, that, oh, hair extensions are just so, but that's the other thing too, like, a lot of women who can naturally grow their hair long are told they should cut it, but then we're pushed to buy other people's hair. You know, it's kind of this weird, it's just a very strange thing. If you want to buy hair extensions, that's fine, but there's so, you want to help somebody, then start doing it yourself. Don't tell other people to do it, you know? That's my whole thing about it. Like, so if you're a woman, or even a man, or whoever you are, you have long hair, somebody says you should donate your hair to charity because you can grow it long, you could just say, well, first off, my long hair is part of my self-expression. If I had a tattoo, would you be telling me that not having that tattoo, like, would help the charity? Like, just kind of throw it back at the person in a way. I mean, in some settings you can't, but you can kind of, like, show people how maybe telling somebody what to do isn't, like, always, it's not right, you know? You're not a better person because you told somebody to do something. If you want to do something, do it. Don't make other people feel like they should do it too. Like, I think that's it. You know, women need to know you don't have to donate your hair to charity to be a better or a good person, okay? That doesn't make you a better person. A lot of people that do a lot of charity work, that do all these things, like, they have neighbors, like elderly neighbors that fall down. And then, do they go to help that person? Do they do all these things quietly, like in their own communities, that they wouldn't get a claim and fame for? No, they don't. But if people really want to do some good in a free market way, they could start pressuring the hair extension industry that goes to India, that doesn't reimburse women a dime and probably pays a temple a lot less than what they made as a profit. They could be like, hey, why don't you pressure these people to, like, give them a bigger slice of the pie, or maybe, like, tell these women in these rural communities, like, hey, we will pay you, because there are actually a few hair extension companies that do that because people need money. I'm just saying, you know, or you could, like, find a way to buy hair from people who want to donate it to help. Like, personally, I'm not donating my hair. I'm not selling any of my hair, because to me, like, I don't want to, and I don't have to explain it to you or justify it in any way. That's just that. Like, if you don't like it, that's kind of your little bag that you have to carry, you know? You are so invested in how other people live their lives that maybe you should start living your own life. I'm just telling you, the whole virtue signaling thing doesn't make someone a better person. It just kind of makes someone a modern form of indulgences, because they're going, you know what indulgences is? It's back in the 1500s, 1400s actually, when people thought they could buy their way into heaven if they like would make this donation or pay this amount of money to show like what good people they were. Really? Are you kidding me? No, that doesn't make you a better person. Like bragging about something, then just do something if you want to help somebody. And I think the real people that help people, they don't have to do their clarion call. You know? They don't have to announce it. They don't need to show others that they're doing this, this, and this. They don't have to have this big giant checklist on social media showing people how good and virtuous they are. I don't get into any of that alt-right crap because a lot of their thoughts are just blah, not for me. But there is a point to the whole virtue signaling thing that we are so overly invested in what other people do that we don't actually just do things because we want to, because it's something that we want to do, you know, not making the. And the whole thing, the next time someone tells you that you should cut your hair to donate it to charity, just think, well, would they tell you that you shouldn't have a tattoo, you shouldn't wear a certain kind of clothes, you shouldn't apply a certain kind of makeup? It's self-expression, but somehow having long hair is selfish, you know? I don't know how having long hair is any more selfish than wanting to live in a house. Or anything else that you want to do that makes you feel good about yourself. It's just ridiculous, really. I'm doing my hair, but I did want to just express my thoughts about something as I comb my hair. And I'm using the Minoy coconut gardenia oil because it smells so good. Put a little bit on my fingers, come out my hair. It smells really, really good. So, I guess, like, you have to think for yourself. So-and-so is a more virtuous person because they did A, B, C, and D. Not always. Now I feel like I said what I wanted to say and I'm just going to cut the hair coming apart. But I really would like people to think through social media movements. Think them through before you just jump on the bandwagon of, oh, this is good, this is a cause we have to support. Not that you can't support causes if you don't want to, but maybe think, like do some research. Consider okay, in the modern age of the internet, everybody's a PR firm. And even so-called charities sometimes might present themselves as virtuous, but you don't really know behind the scenes, do they allocate funds in the best way? Like, do they somehow benefit indirectly in some way? You don't have to, you could just work on your own business, your independent business, your creative efforts. You don't have to go do volunteer work to be a good person. You could help your neighbor. You could collaborate with other people your time. For instance, what if you're bloggers, okay, and you're collaborating your time to help your fellow blogging friends, like, create a further reach to share ideas, like, which is good. Stimulation is good for the mind. There are so many other ways that you can help others without making it a charitable contribution, like official thing, because I'm not anti-charity, but I've just come to realize you don't have to be part of a charity to make a difference in the world. That's not something you're going to hear. I used to think, oh, you have to like volunteer, you have to like give your time to an organization. But once I did that years ago, I did this thing called a conversation partner, where they told me I would be helping these international students improve their English language skills by talking with them for a couple hours each week, and I'd have different people. And I was one of their best groups of people. And some of the people were very appreciative, but others were just like, I already know how to speak English, but like they're coming to this anyway because they're international. They're in the U.S. as an international student for a short time, and I guess part of their program is, if they can have a conversation speech with this person, they will somehow like improve their English language skills. But I thought after a while, like, yeah, it's nice to donate your time in that way if it makes you feel good, but it started to make me think, well, maybe I could just meet people that need help with their English language skills in various ways on my own and do the same thing without being connected to an official organization, which I can always do, and I have always done since I've been on the internet. Like, if I felt I could help somebody that needed to improve their English, I kind of would just like share my expertise and time on my own without it having to be a charitable donation, or just help somebody find something. Like, I once had someone tell me like that I was the only American that was helpful, like when they came to the country, because I actually took my time to help somebody find something somewhere. And they said nobody else ever offered. Which, I don't know, that kind of surprised me. I was like, well, you want to just offer to help somebody find someplace? Because people like to make a show of things, but we live in a very fast-paced society where people want to do something to make a show, to make it look like, they care, they're good people. But then you're at the store and people are having panic attack mode because they have to wait 3 seconds in a grocery store line. To get where? I don't know, to get home to watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians or something. Like, really? There's so many things you can do in your daily life without, and I'm not discrediting volunteer work, because a lot of it's really crucial, like Doctors Without Borders and things like that. But some other volunteer work, it's not that you're not making a difference in the world, but in some ways it's kind of like a social club, okay? It's something that you do to socialize, like just to keep it real, right? That's the truth. Like, some volunteer work is social club. It's a place that you get together with people, and you may be doing things that help, but sometimes it's a way for you to socialize and maybe tell people, well, I do this. But you could help others without having to be part of one of those groups. And that's kind of what I'm more invested in now, is like, what if I want, and when I feel so compelled to use my time and effort to maybe just help others or to encourage others, like in my own way. And even if you did it through a small business venture or creativity, that is a great use of your time. Don't let anybody tell you differently, because you have to think things through with your mind and just know, like, you don't have, well, here's another example. You're at the store and they'll ask you if you want to make a charitable donation to this organization, but this lady said, well, and it was kind of funny, she goes, who's going to make a charitable donation to me? Like, I have spent so much money this week on back to school for my son. Like, I've helped all these businesses. I've helped this and that. Like, what if we all just could invest our time doing things that we believed in, which would help others anyway? Just don't buy into every trend, every social movement. Don't feel guilty if someone tells you that you need to donate your hair because it's long. Just think things through. I guess you can't really tell somebody who's virtue signaling you about cutting your hair that, oh, well, would you say that about a tattoo? But you could think it, or you could just be like, oh, thanks, and walk away and go read under a tree or something. Like, just not give those people the time of day, like, just walk off. Maybe that's the best thing to do. Like, if somebody says that, just be like, oh, and walk away. And leave them in silence. Like, maybe let them think, well, if they're going to say that, like, maybe they just need to be alone with their thoughts so they can think about why they felt compelled to say that. Silence and walking away sometimes is very effective. Like, when somebody has said something to me before, like, I don't need to confront people. What am I going to get out of that all the time? So sometimes I would just walk away and go for a walk in nature and enjoy the trees, and I'll be like, okay, who cares? They had to say that to me. That's fine. I don't want to do that. It doesn't make me a bad person because I don't want to do that thing that they want to do. Just leave them alone with their thought. So, I hope that I know this is just a combing live stream, la da da. No. Why would I do a layered cut? I don't have a layered cut. I don't have a layered haircut. There's nothing about my haircut that looks layered, see? I don't have any layers. In fact, I know some people like layers, but my personal opinion, I don't like layers because I thought they were cute, but you have to curl them and do lots of things to them that I have no interest in doing. So no, I do not like layers. I tried layered haircuts over a decade ago, and actually before I went on my super long hair journey, I would grow out my hair and then cut out the layers so that it'd be more of an even length. So no, I don't plan on ever getting a layered cut. It's not really what this channel is about. It's about long hair, not layered cuts. Right? There's nothing in this channel that would give someone the indication that a layered haircut would be cool for me, like, or interesting or something I want to do. I don't understand, like, where does that come from? Oh, the haircut fetish crowd. Right? They love that kind of stuff. Not that kind of channel, buddy. Yeah. No layered haircuts for me. Look. Not my interest. Like, what else do not like to do with my hair? I don't like to flat iron my hair. I have no interest in my hair being as straight as a stick. None of that. I don't want to change the way. If I do want to do something with my hair, sometimes. Years ago, I used to like to curl it. I like to put curl into my hair, not make it straighter, right? That was my thing. Have an opinion about your hair, okay? Have a strong opinion about what you like about your hair. And own it and give it back to people, right? And it's not to be rude. It's just like, hey, that's not how I want to style my hair. I have a way that I like to style my hair. You just tell people, let them know. We need and I'm not reacting or anything. I'm just saying, yeah, no, I'm not interested. I know a lot of people, they look really good with layered hair. It's just not me because my hair's not curly and I have no desire to curl it. I want to wear it one length or in a braid. Oh, you know what I really hate about the layered haircuts too is when you braid your hair, even more hair sticks out of your braid. And why would I want to do that? And I like my hair to be thicker. That was the thing I really hated about the layered haircut. So yeah, 2006, I had a couple more layered haircuts all the way up until the end of 2008, by the way. But in 2006, I had this one layered haircut. It was mid-back length, but the bottom layer was so thin that at first I'm like, oh, this looks cute. But then as it grew out, the bottom layer, I kid you not, just felt like it was growing faster than the top layers. And it just looks way too asymmetrical to me. And I hated how the bottom layer was so thin compared to the rest of my hair. It just felt kind of bushy and helmety on top. And I was like, no. So I actually, at the time, wanted to grow my hair a bit longer, but I went to the salon and had it cut shoulder length to get rid of that layering. And which was funny because I got a few, another shorter layer put in, but it was more thick. Because even if my hair was on the shorter side in the past, I never wanted it so layered to the point that it would one layer would just be significantly longer. I don't like layers. People are like, layers make your hair more stylish. But my hair has a style. It's my style. It's not a layered style, right? It's slightly wavy. It does what it wants to do. I don't need it to do anything that it doesn't want to do, naturally. Unless I want to enhance the curliness of it by curling it or braiding it, right? That's what I want to do to my hair, not the other layer, layer, layer. Not interested. Oh, everybody left because I said I didn't like layers. I guess if you don't like layers, then you're not fun. Okay, here's another thing I was going to talk about. Some people are super bold in life. They don't have like boundaries. Like, okay, I know like they say sometimes you need to stand up for yourself and you need to like show people that you can do what you want. But sometimes I'm like, it's not even wanting to be control freaky, but what about if like there's something in this area that there might not be a sign that you shouldn't touch it, but you know that this is something that somebody is sorting through, whether it be at the store or on display, and you just feel comfortable enough to go through it and touch it. Like, I don't know, like if I see something and it looks cool, I can look at it, but I don't need to touch it, right? Like, or just like something that's donated or something to some place. Like, I don't know. Like, do you need to sort through like, do you feel like it's your right to go through, let's say there's this place, they donate some books, right? And you see them and they look really cool, but why do you personally need to go through those books? Like, other people just donated those books. But I've seen people do this where they'll be like, oh, like these books look really cool, and they start sorting through them or going through them and touching them and looking at them. And I'm just like, oh, like, even when I'm at a store, like, yeah, clothes I'll look at, I'll kind of touch, or bags, but like if it's a porcelain knickknacks or something kind of breakable, I was just told at a young age, you can look at something, you can see what it looks like, but you don't need to be picking it up and touching it because you could break it, or you could just put it out of order and you don't need to be moving things around. Like, if you want to buy something, yeah, I can see like kind of gingerly picking it up and looking at it, or if you're like wanting to buy the book, I can see reading it. But just like, if some books are donated somewhere, like, it just mind boggles me every time when people start, like, they'll see these books. They didn't personally donate these books, but they're just like, wow, like, I need to go through these books, even though it's like for somebody else to sort out or something. I'm just like, wow, like, people have no boundaries. Like, they're just they feel very comfy. Just like touching anything that's not theirs. Like, to me, like, I always had this boundary. If I see something it might look cool, I can look at it with my eyes, but I don't feel compelled to go pick up like these objects. It could be anything. Store displays, anything. Unless I'm gonna buy something or really want to see it, yeah, I might pick it up like clothes, but just like displays, I don't have to be touching every single thing that's on display, moving it around. Like, another thing too, people don't really care about people at stores that work there. They're just like, well, the people at the store, that's their job to put everything back. We can just move it here, put it there, leave it on the floor. They're just gonna sort it back because, I don't know, people think the store magically just like puts itself back together at the end of the day. Like, the store just is magical that way. You know, they can't return a cart to the cart collection area because that would be 5 seconds out of their. There's things like that, like, that are okay, you know, that seem really widespread, but then we're always talking about how other people would be good if they did this, this, and this, but then people go into businesses and they rearrange things, or even places that have donated books, like, they feel comfortable rearranging, going through other people's things, or like, just, you don't need to touch everything you see, okay? Like, my mom told me that when I was young. She goes, you don't need to touch it. You can look, but you don't need to touch everything. And I think that's the best advice I ever God, because if you're in a store, you don't need to touch every little object, okay? If you're buying it, yes, but you know what I've seen people do at the store? And I don't know. I don't think it's right. Try on deodorant in the store. Are you kidding me? Like, okay, sometimes I've bought deodorant and it ended up not being my favorite scent. But you know what you could do? Just buy a more environmental deodorant. Like, there's a few ones that are more just like coconut oil and baking soda based. Buy a more natural toothpaste. But it's like I've seen people open boxes, pour out products in a store because they have to see how it smells, looks, and touches. They can't just buy something and be like, okay, well, this particular thing wasn't my favorite. It's just, I guess I'm just so different, but I don't feel comfortable like that. I feel like there are no boundaries for some, and they just comfy. Touch anything they see, because if they see it and it looks cool, it's like, they can touch it. Even if there isn't a sign that says don't touch, I just feel like maybe we just need to have some respect for things. You don't need to touch everything you see. Just like my mom told me when I was 5. You see all those pretty ceramics, those cups. Yeah, they're very pretty and you're like tempted to pick it up. But if you're not buying that cup, you don't need to be touching it, you know? It's not there for you to play with. Same with adults though. I feel like, well, yeah, there's some cool things and I get it. Like if it's a book in a bookstore on a shelf to buy, yeah, you should buy it. But let's say it's a bin of books that are being donated to an organization. Like, just let the people who sort it out. You don't need to go through it personally yourself because you walk by and it's like, that looks cool. It's there for a reason because it's a donation. But I guess, I don't know, I'm getting really random here, but I love randomness because I like to discuss thoughts and it makes hair brushing more entertaining for me. I sometimes would like to be out of curiosity, see like, well, what kind of video has the most engagement? Just to see curiosity, you know, out of my own mind. Okay, thanks. Thank you. So maybe I will close out this video, and I'm not done combing my hair yet because I was talking a little too much at the beginning. Plus, okay, I washed my hair yesterday. So I didn't have enough time to comb it. I know I had like 40 minutes, so how would you know? Because I'm gonna take my time. So anyway, I love the sound this brush makes. I'm gonna start another video in a couple minutes.